Hello everyone and welcome to another video. As you can see from the title, you know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be showing you 3 of my best games. The tournament I've just played in is the 2022 Chess.com Daily Chess Championship, and it's the first round out of 4 rounds. For each game, both players have 1 day to make a move. So as you can see, here is the standings of my group. And I ended up finishing first place. I have 1 more game left, but the person in second place also has 1 more game left, and they can't catch up to me. So that means I'm definitely going to be first place in this group and qualify for the next round. This is the first game that I wanted to show you. So here it goes. I was playing white against someone slightly lower rated than me in daily chess, but still they played well. So it started with e4, e5, bishop c4, the bishop's opening, knight f6, and then knight c3, defending the pawn, bishop e7, we're just playing simple developing moves, d3, d6, knight e2, castles, bishop g5. The first move that I make in his half of the board, putting pressure on this side. He tried to chase the bishop away, so I just kept the pressure and just kept on a diagonal. He developed his knight, and I brought my queen out. You can see that my plan is to castle queenside and launch an attack on the other side of the board. So after bishop g4, that's what I did. I first block the bishop. I don't really want it to attack my rook or block the knight from moving, so I pushed it away. It also helps initiate my attack, which is very helpful. I castled. He went a6. You can also see that he's trying to make his own attack. I played the safe king b1 to get the king out of the same diagonal as the queen. After a few moves and a swap off, I decided to take the knight instead of escaping with my own knight. My idea was, if he takes my knight, then my bishop can take the pawn and I can be a pawn up. So he instead took my bishop and I retreated with my knight. After c5, bishop d5 and rook b8, I started to launch my attack. g4. He's continuing with his own attack as well. a5, h4. I actually blundered a pawn, but I realized that it's quite helpful for me because of the open file, and you'll see at the end of the game the open file managed to win me the game. Rook g1, getting my other rook that was doing nothing previously into a better place. Bishop g5, f4, pushing the bishop back, bishop f6, and then I just crash through, attacking 2 things at once with a pawn fork, forcing him to take and bring his bishop to a nice outpost square. But, my bishop is also on an outpost square, but it's actually attacking the king on the same diagonal as the king. I used this to my advantage. I played g6. And the idea is he can't take because my bishop is attacking his king. So he goes bishop e6, trying to block my bishop from that diagonal, and I happily swap off. And now, pause the video, because my question is, think where you would want this queen. Anywhere on the board, where would it be the best? Pause the video and... alright, if you pause the video, then the queen would be really nice on one of these 2 squares. It will be checkmate, especially on this square. So, how do I get it there? Well, the knight is in the way, so I just have to move the knight away and bring the queen there and there. But his bishop is also blocking that square, so I have 2 options. I can either do this and bring the queen there, but there's still a queen blocking me there, so really I only have 1 option, which is what I did. Knight g3, blocking the bishop, opening the queen, letting it go here and here. So he desperately took, and after rook f6, I think credit to him for trying to escape with the king, but it was 1 move too late. Because after queen h2, king f8, check. And as you can see, these 2 pawns are stopping him from escaping. So is the queen. A check. He blocked and then I checkmated him. That was a very nice finish to the game. Just a side note, if he went here, then I would have checked him and checkmated him. So, you can see how nice the first game was. In conclusion, the game was basically a bishop's opening game, and both players launched attacks on different sides of the board. and in the end my attack was a bit faster. In fact, his attack did nothing at all. He didn't even get to attack any of my pawns. He didn't get to double any of my pawns. This is because my attack was faster from the start. Then after this idea of my queen, I checkmated him. Now on to the next game. So this is a different player. Actually, I think he was the highest player, the highest rated player in our section, and you'll see this game. This was also a quite nice game. I was playing white, and the game started off e4, e5, bishop c4, bishop's opening. He attacks my pawn and I defend it, and bishop b4. So you can see he's trying to do a displacement tactic where he takes my knight and then this pawn is left free for him to capture. So I did this so I can recapture the knight back with my own knight and preserve the defense. He castled, d3 and d5, immediately exploiting the pin, because I can't take by knight, there's a pin as I just mentioned. So I took, he took, and I castled to remove my king from the pin. After a few moves and a few swap-offs, he played knight c6. Here we progress through the game, and this is the first important part of the game. He went f5, immediately he's trying to attack, and if I let him attack then it would be very devastating. He would go queen here, rook here, rook here, so rook here, rook there, and try and checkmate me. Also uses g-pawn. So I stopped him in his tracks. I stopped his attack from the first move with f4. He went e4, which, I think it was a questionable move, but what could he really do? After a swap-off and knight g3, this pawn is clearly isolated because there's no neighbouring pawns next to it. Eventually, I did manage to try and win this pawn. We'll see. As you can see, I'm putting more pressure, and then a check, and then I finally took his pawn away. So I'm a pawn up, even though I do have these ugly doubled pawns, and I would wish that one of these pawns was there, but it's still a pawn up. After a few shuffling, we shuffled our pieces around to, oh yeah, I didn't take this because he would go here, I would go back, he would capture, and I would capture, and then after he captures, he's left with two double pawns. Actually, I'll show you the line quickly. Takes, rook there, knight there, takes, 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 and this is horrible for me. Therefore, if we go back to this position, I just moved my knight in there to do a nice fork. He moved and I captured the bishop. In this case, would a bishop be better than a knight? That's a very important question. Would my bishop outclass his knight? I'm not actually sure. The answer isn't obvious yet. The answer is probably yes though, because it's quite an open position. After some more shuffling, check, and attacking the rook, he went to defend the pawn. G4 to stop the knight from going there. Look how I played. I tried to stop him in everything he could do. C5, rook e3, knight there. I allowed him to take the bishop, but then I ran away because he didn't take the bishop. C4 takes, rook e4. Attacking this, he attacked my bishop, so I retreated, and after a check, I used my bishop to block the check. King g7, king f3, knight a5. You see he's blocking the pawn. Then I forced a change of rooks because I figured out that a change of rooks would be better for me. As I have an extra pawn here, I can easily create a passed pawn. I can also bring my king quickly, chase the knight away, and win both these pawns and be completely winning. So that's exactly what happened in the game. After a few moves, a swap off, he helped me gain a pawn, a passed pawn Knight c6, bishop e3, a5. I rerouted my bishop here to prevent the king from ever going there. And then, eventually, I took both of these pawns on this side of the board. However, it was at the cost of my other passed pawn on the other side of the board. But I did make two new pawns that are passed. Look at that. That looks really nice. So then, eventually, I did blunder a pawn. I thought this fork was quite dangerous, and I was still winning if I ignored and kept going, but I was scared about the complications that he would get for having a passed pawn. So I decided to give up the pawn and keep playing. My plan now is to get the king there, take this, make sure that the bishop is protecting this pawn, and to be in a position where I have this, versing this and this. So my plan is just to win this pawn while keeping this. So that's what I did. I brought my king to the center and chased the knight away. Then I brought my king to the other side to attack this pawn. And then a nice attack on the knight. If he loses his knight, it's automatically lost for him. I take this and then I move my pawn up and it's easily winning. So let's keep playing, going forward in the game. After a few moves, and after a few moves, he resigned because this pawn is too powerful. Here he resigned. If he takes, then I promote and I'm winning. It would take me a few moves to convert, but it's not too hard. That was my longest game in this whole series of games. And then finally, the last game I want to show you today quickly is against the same player, but the first time I played him. The previous one was the second time. So the game started out with the Owens defense. You guys know that this is my pet opening. I attacked this pawn and he defended it. He actually was winning this game, but we'll see what happened. I'll just skim through the opening, it's not that important. Here already he's almost winning. He stopped me in my plan of castling queenside, and all he needs to do to win is bring his knight and his queen into the attack and attack this weak spot. So that's exactly what happened. And actually he didn't even need his queen, he just used his rook. And now I fall into a fork. I move one rook and lose the other. I move my king to a safe place, brought my bishop back into the game, and I mean, at least I was successful in one thing, blocking this side of the board, so at least I'm confident my king is safe for some time. He started to do annoying stuff like pawn grabbing, and my immediate response was to try and trap his queen. Not to win it, just to trap it. The problem is, if I go here, then he can easily take this, and I haven't won the queen. So the game continued. He just got his other rook to the game. I brought my bishop back because I realized that this is a big threat. Then he brought his queen back, and here, knight f5. Now he played bishop f4, bishop g5, trying to get the bishop away because it's defending a key spot. After this, I played a brilliant move, knight takes g3, exploiting this pin. And you can see a nice fork. It's perfect for me. Imagine I'm all the way back in this position. Who would have known that he would have blundered? Back here, I was completely losing with no hopes of winning the game. Here, my mentality was like, just defend and hope he blunders. And that's exactly what happened. He did blunder, as I just showed you. Here, exactly here he blundered. He let me do this fork to him. We'll just see the last moves of the game. I took his queen off, took his bishop off, gave him a check, and ended the game off with a nice skewer. And he resigned. So I hope you enjoyed those 3 games. Those were the 3 best games that I picked. Well, realistically I should have played about 22 games, but 10 of those 22 games were I won on time. Because there's only one day to play a move. You might think, wow, that's 24 hours to play one chess move, that's a lot. But no, in this case, they would forget. And it's not a game, it's not a type of game that you would just have your computer in front of you constantly. It's like, when you're notified of your move, then you go to the game, pretty much. So, therefore, 10 of my games ended up in winning on time. And there was, 12 actually. So there was 10 games left that I played normally, and I chose the best 3 to show to you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please like, subscribe, share, whatever you do. And thanks for getting me to above 50 subs. I'm nearly at 60 subs. The aim is to get to 60 subs maybe at the end of February. So thanks for watching, and bye.